Chapter 3 of The History of Mr. Polly. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Adrian Pretzelis. Chapter the 3rd. Cribs. 1. Port Burdock was never the same place for Mr. Polly after Parsons left it. There were no chest notes in his occasional letter, and little of the joie de vivre got through by them. Parsons had gone, he said, to London and found a place as a warehouseman in a cheap outfitting store near St. Paul's Churchyard, where references were not required. It became apparent as time passed that new interests were absorbing him. He wrote of socialism and the rights of man, things that had no appeal for Mr. Polly. He felt strangers had got hold of his Parsons, were at work upon him, making him into someone else, something less picturesque. Port Burdock became a dreariness, full of faded memories of Parsons, and work a bore. Platt revealed himself alone as a tiresome companion, obsessed by romantic ideas about intrigues and vices and society women. Mr. Polly's depression manifested itself in a general slackness. A certain impatience in the manner of Mr. Garvace presently got upon his nerves. Relations were becoming strained. He asked for a rise of salary to test his position and gave notice to leave when it was refused. It took him 2 months to place himself in another situation, and during that time he had quite a disagreeable amount of loneliness, disappointment, anxiety and humiliation. He went at first to stay with a married cousin who had a house at Easewood. His widowed father had recently given up the music and bicycle shop, with the post of organist at the parish church that had sustained his income, and was living upon a small annuity as a guest with his cousin, and growing a little tiresome on account of some mysterious internal discomfort that the local practitioner diagnosed as imagination. He had aged with mysterious rapidity and become excessively irritable, but the cousin's wife was a born manager and contrived to get along with him. Our Mr. Polly's status was that of a guest, pure and simple. But after a fortnight of congested hospitality, in which he wrote nearly 100 letters beginning, "Sir, referring to your advertisement in the Christian World for an improver in gents outfitting, I beg to submit myself for the situation, have had 6 years' experience," and upset a bottle of ink over the toilet cover and the bedroom carpet. His cousin took him for a walk and pointed out the superior advantages of apartments in London, from which to swoop upon the briefly yawning vacancy. Helpful,